everybody out today for the Murray City Municipal Council Committee of the Whole meeting, May 7th, 2024. I'd like to welcome the mayor and Jennifer and guests and everybody. Welcome, welcome. The first thing we need to do is if any questions or corrections, comments on the actions on the minutes of April 2nd. If not, I will take a motion to approve and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the Committee of the Whole minutes for April 2nd, 2024.
Okay, do I have a second? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I can second.
We have a motion and a second. Everyone say aye.
Aye.
There you go. Alrighty, so now we're on discussion item number 1. Discussion on a prepayment for Red Mesa Solar, Greg Blanc and Matt Youngs.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Council, Mayor, thanks for having us tonight. We're going to attempt to, we're going to be able to tell you, with UAMPS, we're going into a prepayment, which is going to be associated with our Red Mesa Solar project. And so what it boils down to, so there's Internal Revenue Code and Treasury regulations that contain some provisions that let, maybe this getting a little into the weeds a little bit, but they're able to let people take advantage of tax exempt bonding that we can be involved in, issue a prepayment, and then what it ends up doing is giving us a tax, or not a tax saving, but a cost savings through that prepayment. And it's about 8%. So right now our Red Mesa is probably close to, with transmission and everything, about a $46 a megawatt hour resource. And so, 8% savings on $45 is, I should have done the math before I got up here. Who's a good math? Who's our mathematician? 8% of 45.
350.
That works, thank you.
10%.
Yeah. That's our mathematician right there. He's
credit.
yeah, exactly. So it's just a way to, so what it is, it'll be a 30-year bond that's issued. We're not issuing it, UAMPS isn't issuing it, it's being issued by another company. It gets issued and then it gets put out there at a 30-year bond. And then we're able to, that bond goes to another company and then that power gets transferred to them and then it gets sold back to UAMPS at a reduced rate. And so it's just, if you would have seen the very first presentation that we saw at UAMPS,
My head's still spinning.
yeah, it's still spinning just a little bit. But we've been in enough meetings now that we understand. It's really a win-win for Murray. It's a win-win for UAMPS. And the bond doesn't affect us at all. It doesn't affect our PPA at all with Red Mesa. It's just kind of a paperwork shuffle to get us about an 8% savings. And I know that's kind of simple and maybe a high level. Do you have any input on that at all?
I don't think so. Any questions?
So do we
Yes.
pay back as like a loan to the bond or to UAMPS or
No, and so it's just
we just pay for it through our rate?
Yeah, so we're still just in a
Okay.
purchase agreement with Red Mesa Solar, but it comes through a different route.
And
And
the cost of that energy is just approximately 8% reduced.
And I know you've given us the pie chart of what percentage comes from Red Mesa, but if I remember, it was a smaller portion, right? Like 13% or.
yeah, so it's 5 megawatts total. So giving whatever our load is for the day.
Okay.
I think our load was about 50. So it was 10. At that
Yeah.
point, it's about 10% of our load. So, but it just fluctuates depending on, obviously a little less when we're at 100 megawatts during the summertime. But we love this. I mean, our Red Mesa, when I got to go down to, when they did the ribbon cutting down there, it's just Marlena got to go with me. It's just a special place. The people are amazing, and it was just fun as they got to introduce themselves around the table. They would speak in Navajo for a portion and talk about their family and how they're part of the, the Navajo Nation. And it's just amazing. So I love the fact that we're part of that. And we talked about us going down to do Light Up Navajo, and you were able to give us the opportunity to go do that again this year. So we're very thankful for that. But that's more talking about Red Mesa, but so they're doing, the prepayment is also for the Nebo gas plant. So it can be either gas or electricity. We're not part of Nebo, so that doesn't affect us. And that's a shorter term, that's only a 5-year deal. But so with us, it's just, and I might have not misrepresented, but it's on what they actually sell to us. Transmissions added upon that, so it's not quite 3.5, but it's probably in the
right?
high 2s to low 3s.
So will our residents see any of that benefit?
It'll just overall reduce, it'll just be a savings to us overall. Like, it'll be an 8% savings on what we pay for Red Mesa. And then you have to add the transmission on top of that. So, but it's a good way to just lower our costs.
Yeah, so will the residents see any of that lower cost?
Yes.
They
Yeah,
will?
for
Okay,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it gets passed on to them for sure.
Yeah, wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
That's very good to know.
And one question over here, Diane.
Did UAMPS start this, were they the ones that, is that why we're
Yeah.
considering this?
Yeah, so this was brought to you.
wondering
Yeah, this was brought to
precipitated.
you. They looked at it and they realized that, I guess the beauty of it is, we're shooting for 8% right now. It has to get renegotiated. They'll go back and do some refinancing in maybe 5 or so years, 10 years maybe. And then they'll look at it again and they could go, maybe depending on what, the situation is, it either might be more than 8%, less than 8%. But if it comes into a point where we don't think it's worth the benefit, we don't have to participate during that refinance period or that period where it either went too low for us to really realize anything. And then the other thing about it is, if for some reason we bond, they do away with the bond, we just go back to being a regular. It doesn't hurt us at all.
Doesn't affect our PPA.
It doesn't affect our PPA. We're always just doing the exact same thing we always do. So there's really, in my mind, I can't think of a downside to this. One of the stipulations is that you have to use it. I mean, well, yeah, that's something we bring into that's definitely a resource that we will. So if for some reason we're long in a certain hour, we sell off a different lease source and take in obviously something that's nice and clean and renewable, like our Red Mesa Solar. So we've looked at it, and I think it's a good thing for Murray. So I don't know if you have any more questions.
I have a few.
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
Do you want the weedy question at the beginning or at the end?
We'll work with you.
Okay. Is that cost locked on Red Mesa at 45?
So it's a 30-year. We have a 30-year PPA with them, and there's like a small escalation factor till the
Okay.
end.
And then would this include the expansion? Because they're expanding Red Mesa, correct?
They would probably definitely look into that. Yeah, I mean that could something that they might look at that as well in the future.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yes. Was that the weedy question?
So how does it affect the Navajo people? And I ask this because there's a long history of energy companies putting power plants not on Native American reservations and then putting some bad terms on Native Americans.
Agreed.
So I want to make sure we're not
No.
replicating what's been done in the past.
No, this does not affect them. It does not affect us.
Okay.
It's just a way of bringing two people together that can benefit. Someone's obviously getting the benefit from this, but if all is said and done and we walk away from this, it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect us.
Okay.
At the end of the day, they're still getting exactly what they are selling to us, and we're getting exactly what they pay minus a little bit of an
And from what I
incentive.
understand, even when negotiations do happen, it happens with the Navajo Council. So they have their own.
Yes, yeah, so this has to be approved, it has to also be approved.
Well, even in the history, that's happened, and then
Yeah, well,
municipal governments like us have pushed our terms onto them and not fulfilled our
Yeah.
parts of deals historically, so.
So, no, I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
definitely, we want to do what's best in their best interest and ours as well.
Yeah.
So I don't see
Okay.
any downside to this, so.
Good.
I do appreciate that because we want a long-term lasting relationship with the Navajo tribe and they're just, yeah. They're amazing and I'm grateful that we were able to be a part of that, so. But yeah, I don't see any downside on either side, so. So,
Any other questions?
so we'll come next in 2 weeks to the council to pass the resolution. I think it was in your packet, so.
Yep, it is.
So,
Okay, thank you.
excellent.
There's no other questions. We'll move on to discussion item number 2. An extension for the Trans-Jordan landfill contract with Ray. Then we're here.
So we've been working closely, GL's been working with us. We've been talking with Trans-Jordan and the purchase power agreement so our initial startup date was May 28th, 2009. And so we had a 15-year term and that's gonna be expiring, this month. So we've been working for a while now to get this put through. And I think we come to a really good term with them.
What year was that? What?
2009.
Oh, 2009.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we're at the 15 years. So to kind of put that in perspective, they were just one of the first. I think my first year here, that was being taken care of. I remember being there for the ribbon cutting for that, and I'll have to say the foresight that was
Yeah.
years ago to get involved with Salt Lake County landfill and Trans-Jordan landfill. We are the only municipal in the state that has access to these green resources that,
How many in the
mitigate the
country?
mitigate the
sorry.
methane gas.
Yeah.
And instead of just,
Yeah.
there's not, well,
There's not
a lot
much
back east.
in the west because they work better with more moisture and humid climates. So there's not many in the west.
And for a landfill to qualify to be able to capture the methane, they actually have to start with a liner. And I mean, so there has to be really a lot of foresight, even when the beginning of the landfill. So there's probably a lot of landfills that would love to do this, but they weren't set up.
You
for
mean
that
the
to
liner,
begin
like a
with.
plastic liner?
Yes.
Kind of like what they do with,
Yeah,
okay. I'm
Yeah.
familiar with liners.
so have you know what?
This is another field.
That's another
trip.
field trip.
I think I'm the only one. I think I'm the only one.
We're gonna just
who
take
has
your
been
time
there.
for a couple days and we're just gonna go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
go
Get
see
that
some fun.
bus, get that leave us.
But it is amazing.
I'll do the casino.
True.
So we can show you where the Trans-Jordan landfill plant is and the generators and can take you up to the really nice smelling landfill. But it's very, it's so clean, it's clean out there. It's amazing how well they keep it up. So we're,
Diane,
It's really
isn't it
well
the one that
organized.
we went, when I was first on the council and we lost Mayor Iyer? Is that the one that we went way out there with?
For the
The breakfast?
breakfast, yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and
maybe
they-
you have also been.
What?
Did you go over to the,
No, we
But
all
that's
left
the
together because we had to go up to Little America right after that. And got it.
that's the landfill, but you need to go see the plant that's
Yeah.
next to it.
for sure,
It's
yeah,
really
and
cool.
we could set that up as well. I think that'd be kind of fun. Just to get you kind of used to some of the stuff that we're involved in. But we appreciate GL and his team. They do a lot for us and it's appreciated. And it's fun to send something to him. He writes through it and gets it back to us and he's always watching out for our power department in the city. So we've been back and forth a few times, but I think we're almost there to the point where we've got something ready to sign. So there are just a few little tweaks that we're making. But, we're close, very close. We just wanted to let you be aware that we're renegotiating that right now.
Now, the renegotiation, does that include the expansion? Because they're gonna put They're expanding that too, right?
That, they're hoping to. They would
Okay.
love to if they can find, they're doing a gas study right now.
Mhm.
And if they can, they would probably put another 1.5 megawatt generator out there. So we would welcome that.
And
Yeah.
the language of the new contract would allow for that.
And how many
What's that
members
change?
are there, Transjordan?
7?
It's a great question. I'm not sure.
I want to say 7, but don't hold me to that. But I think there's 7 cities.
Is there 7? I
Is
was-
it 9?
Nine.
9, okay.
Nine.
9, that works better.
Jail's gonna like.
We'll go.
You're looking.
GL.
It'll be 4.
Nine
So my
sounds
next
right.
question to you is,
Yes.
have we renegotiated the contract with Truckee in exporting the?
That is in the works right now as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know we've talked about that
Yeah.
before a little bit.
Yeah, and that is something we're really close to getting done as well.
Okay.
And that one, we're looking at leaving an option open, but calling that
Yeah,
back
and it
to
would be
us right
like-
now.
It would work more in our benefit than anything.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, and so we're looking at that because Truckee really needs the RECs really and the energy, but they're willing to work with us on our RECs, which if we can sell our RECs to Truckee, that would be very beneficial. So we want to definitely keep that partnership going. So GL once again has helped write something that makes sense for the city and for them, and we're really close getting that one signed as well. So yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
I stand corrected. It is 7 cities. It wasn't GL that told me that. Somebody that is watching us from above.
Is it 7?
It is 7.
It's IT.
Yeah, I always thought it was 9. I don't know why. Anyway, I thought I'd better correct that because your wife's sitting behind you.
And then once again, we're just grateful to be part of some really good resources. When this started, it was one of our most expensive resources, but you know what? We went with it, and it's served us. It's as far as a green renewable resource, it's just chugs, and I mean, it's always there for us. It's definitely a baseload resource for us. So
How much do we pay per megawatt on that one?
we're probably in the 7 to 8 or $70 to $80 a megawatt hour. So, you know, it's a little higher, but it's still,
It's a
but
base.
now that's fallen into line where that's an excellent price
Yeah,
for what we get.
it's pretty
So-
competitive now.
So we'll renegotiate this one and then we just, Salt Lake, I'm trying to think where we're at on that one, but,
That one we already did.
that one was just not too long ago, so we'll be set for a few more years and
Awesome.
so, but just want to let you know that's what we're working on.
Good.
So, anything to add?
I don't think so.
Any questions?
I thought he said, anything else, Dad?
I did. Anything else, Dad?
Well, where's Mom?
No, he does not call me that.
You heard it too. Pam, or-
I did. I thought, Dad, who's?
Okay, we can edit that out of the notes. Will you do that for me, Crystal?
I'll let Patty know. Thank you
No,
guys.
we just want you to know how much we appreciate working with you all, and I can't, every time I get a chance to talk about our department is amazing. We have some of the best employees, and that's citywide. But I mean, we're kind of partial to our employees, obviously, but I mean, the city, I think our city is very well run, and we just have, I love coming to work every day, so thank you.
Greg says that often. He really does.
Yeah.
How he appreciates his relationship with the council.
Your commute is
sure.
not close.
It's okay.
So we appreciate it.
But you have a new car to enjoy that commute.
There you go.
I need to get one that drives itself.
Well, yeah,
No, you don't.
like the Jetsons.
But anyway, thanks to you all, appreciate it, really do
Thanks.
appreciate
Thank you,
you guys. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlena, for coming.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Alrighty, so now we're on reports from the ULCT mid-year conference. Me, Councilmember Pickett, and our Executive Director, Jennifer Kennedy. We have 10 minutes. Does anybody want me to go first?
You're the boss.
Okay, so I had many pages of my notes, but I will be very brief. The first opening session was with Noelle Pace, former Olympic skeleton racer. Her points were cities and towns are the heart of the country. Take a deep breath, time alone, focus where you want to go and visualize it. Know who you are, being remembered for your integrity, and focus on things you can control. Session at 10:30 a.m. was cultivating your community, the vital role of special events in serving your residents. That was a very interesting session. But just 3 things that I got out of it was why events are important in getting the community together, creating a sense of belonging and ownership. Events are the most visible things a city does for their residents. Then we had another session at 11:40, handling conflict. How much time do you want to spend on the conflict? Have thicker skin. They are not attacking the city, they just don't like change. Conflict can be productive or stressful. Anticipate the conflict from the agenda. Ground rules, trust, share their concerns, share their viewpoints. How we communicate is where we end up at. Having one-on-one conversations and having mayor meetings. Have one-on-one with citizens that don't understand, write a resolution for civility, professional tone to our meetings, and take the high road. Then we had the ULC Legislative Advocacy Meeting. That basically just restated what Corey Holdaway mentioned. Then at 8:45 in the morning, Doug Hill and I were in the same meeting about Comprehension Safety Action Plan. That's to develop a comprehensive safety action plan. I got the business card from Ted Knowlton. He works in our area, I'm assuming?
Yes, he is on Wasatch Front.
Yes,
Works for, is on the, yeah, anyway, he works for Wasatch Front.
right. And city action plan is to identify where the worst traffic areas are and partnering with other municipalities and look beyond the edge of your city. So those were my notes. I have more notes, but that's what I have received while being down there.
Yeah, I like being on this side. You can see the TV on this
I
side.
know.
All right, so I'll turn off notification. You can turn it back on if you want. So just really quickly, we had a wide variety of choices in our presentations. I attended some with Pam. I attended some with Jennifer and some by myself. This is the sessions that I attended. You see on there that some are different than Pam. And these are the things that I learned in the corresponding sessions.
Who did Powers and Duties? Who was the presenter for that?
That was,
Powers and
What's-
duty.
that was,
Hold
what's
that
his
one up right
name?
there.
The attorney that's,
Godfrey.
yeah, Godfrey. The one that's LPC. He's always at the LPC meetings.
Yeah.
and-
And it was
Yeah.
kind of an extension of the training we got as new council members. He
Right.
just kind of went a little deeper and allowed us, now that we've been in for a few months, to kind of ask questions at this point, saying, okay, we talked about this in December, what have you learned?
That's a good session to attend, no matter how long you've been.
Exactly.
I mean,
A lot of
that's
good
what I
reminders.
always attend.
A lot of good
because it just-
reminders of things that we should
forget
be
things.
doing. And I just simply just summed up one thing from each one of my presentations. I love the networking and the other council members from different cities. We discuss similar issues. How have you guys handled this? What are you guys doing about this and that? It was just awesome. That happened all day long. I attended social media one, and I got a couple of things out of it, basically because I have a social media presence, and I realized the importance of there's been a couple of rulings that have come down in March that could potentially affect the way we use our social media and whether it goes from private to public. So I just think we need to maybe pay attention to that. The community event one, I went with Pam. It was interesting at best, but it does talk about the importance of community events to play in bringing a community together, which I thought was a good thing about it. And then we just talked about the focus, make sure that we keep our city focus going the right direction, so we can steer it that direction. Don't take the eyes off the goal. Went to the presentation. We talked to first, second class cities about similar problems we're facing. It's good to hear the other cities talking about the same things. And hear what they're doing. And then the budgeting ideas, I sent you all an email with the budgeting ideas to take into account as you look over this budget session. Thank you.
Okay, sounds like you got a lot out of it. It's such a good
really good, yeah.
opportunity.
I can check this. I don't know how to check this thing.
Press X. Just put, and then pull it out.
Just press what?
Just pull it out.
Just pull it out?
Yeah, can you? Yeah.
The computer's gonna start
That's you.
We're all sitting there waiting for some explosion.
Okay. So like they said, it was actually one of the better OCT conferences I've been to.
Oh, well. Look at you just
It did. Paul?
Way to go, Paul.
I asked before I pulled it out.
I'm just grateful the lights are still on everywhere else.
It's time to go home.
So I attended the handling conflict one with Pam. And there were some good things in there, it really just talked about how to handle conflict, how to work things out, and that sometimes it's just as easy as picking up the phone and making a phone call, That was a good one. The one I did too, and I'm just gonna tell a little about this. I also went to Next Level Budgeting with Carrie Nakamura. Excellent.
She's always so good.
So amazing. And Paul sat next to me and he sent those points to you guys. We were both right there and agreed those were great points to
Sounded
look
like
out for
Carrie,
budget.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's good.
so that was good. The one that I went to that I don't think anyone else did was it was a public hearing rules. It just talked about your council meetings should be effective and efficient meetings, and just ways that you can go about public comment where you can still hear your citizens but keep your meetings in control. We don't really have a problem with the meetings getting out of control here. Other cities do, but there was some really good information on that. I'll probably got the PowerPoint, I'll end up sharing it with you guys just so you can see more what I'm talking about. But it was one of the better classes I've ever been to at the OCT conference. And that's my report.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming, Power People. Always good to see you. And if there is no other business, I will adjourn this meeting and we'll go to our council meeting at 6:30, correct?
Yeah, we do have some refreshments in the
And there's refreshments in the other room, so
Bad was that.
back there. And we are done. Thank you.